every time. So I will stand up here the way he asks me to, but please just know I would much rather have this conversation sitting down all together in a circle, just informally. So this is kind of the end of the relationship goal series that I'm doing here at LA. I love that the end of the series is with the servants, right? Because our hope when we kind of move in between dioceses and I come from Canada and Marchi comes over to us and we steal your servants and back and forth is that we're taking the things that we're doing in different dioceses that might work and we're like exchanging them, right? And so the goal here is that I'm sitting in a room of servants who see the future of the people that you serve and who see the future of where you want to take your service. And, we exchange ideas with each other, but you take, whatever you want from this and then you run with it and you build it and you make it better. And then in 2 years, I'll come back and I'll steal it back, okay? So the goal here is that, like, as a team of servants, that we're working together, like, on the same path, on the same trajectory, for the same purpose, okay? What unites everybody in this room, I don't know what services you guys serve in this room. I don't know if people are serving, like, potentially relationship goals in the future or, like, high school, university, college, kids, whatever it is. But what unites everybody in this room is that we're all here to serve. And we're all here for a common purpose. So the first question, before we can even get started, is why do we serve? And like I have with me one of my old Sunday school kids, and I think he's heard me ask him this question maybe 10,000 times over the course of the, 15 years, Bulls? I don't know, something like that, okay? But before we can even talk about service, before we can even talk about serving a specific group or serving a specific service, we have to talk about why do we serve? And the reason I always start with this is because it took me a long time to understand this completely. I had been serving for many, many years before I understood this completely, this concept of why do we serve? When you ask a group of younger, junior servants, sometimes we get these really young folk, like these high school kids or these university kids, and they want to join the service. They want to teach the kids. They want to do summer camp at church, right? And we ask them, okay, guys, why do you want to serve? And they always answer oh, I love kids. Oh, I want to help people. Or the classic example, we're going on a mission trip. Why do you guys want to go on a mission trip? Oh, I want to help people. That is not why we serve. And if that is why we serve, that is the fastest way to get discouraged. That is the fastest way to burn out of the service. Because if you're serving for the person in front of you, the person in front of you is not going to thank you. And the person in front of you is not going to sit there and show you the fruits of your labor. That's not what's going to happen. The reason that we serve is because we love him. That's why. That's why we serve. We serve because of him. We are loved with an unconditional, everlasting love from him. And every second of every day, he shows us 100 times, 1,000 times, all the ways he loves us. And what do I have to offer him in return? Nothing. I have love languages. How many people in this room have heard of love languages? Okay, almost everybody, okay? I have to offer him in return my love languages. He shows me every day, every second, how much he loves me. And in return, what do I have? I have words of affirmation, okay? Like praise, prayer, tasbih, agbeya, all that stuff, okay? I have quality time, great, which is my quiet time. I have physical touch, the sacraments is the tangible ways that you experience God and you feel God and you're with God, okay? I have, what's the next one? I can't even remember. Gifts, tithing. Churches need help here, folks, okay? And I have acts of service. This is why we do what we do. Acts of service. This is how we show him that we love him too. The relationship is two-way. It's not just I take, and I do nothing to show him back. In the course of this entire weekend, all we've been talking about is relationships. And relationships are two-way streets. And I can take from him and I can take his love, and he'll never stop loving me. But if I truly love him, I have to be able to show him back. And the reason that love is hard work is because showing people how you love them is hard work. So I'll give you an example, okay? I've been married for almost 12 years, okay? My husband is gold. Like, he is the best. 10, 12, 14 years ago, whatever, whenever I started dating my husband, my love language was gifts. Gifts. Give me gifts. I love gifts, okay? Give me gifts. People say it's superficial. I don't think so, okay? I think it's thoughtful. Give me gifts, okay? My husband's love language is physical touch, quality time. For my husband, it was very hard work to love me in a way that I can appreciate, okay? What he wants to do, okay, is hold my hand or sit down and talk. That's nice, okay? It's very nice. It's very sweet. But that's not how I perceive love. That's not how I receive his love. That's not where it means something impactful for me. So love is hard work because we have to learn how to love him the way he's asked to be loved, the way he desires to be loved. It doesn't help you in your relationships if you love people the way you want to be loved. That you have to be able to love them the way they want to be loved. And that's why relationships are hard work. Because all of a sudden, you take the focus off of yourself and what you know and what you need, and you make it about the other person. That is service. It has nothing to do with the people that you serve and everything to do with him. It has nothing to do with if your high school kids like you and everything to do with why you're there. Time and time again. Criticisms, get shot down, nobody shows up. It doesn't matter because you're not there for them, you're there for him. Service is an act of gratitude, it's a response to grace, and it's a manifestation of your love for him. We serve because of the love we have already received, not expecting anything in return. But we serve out of the love that we have already received. We love with the love he's already offered to us, okay? I feel like I've given this example 100 times this weekend, and it's so out of season. I need to get my seasons proper, okay? But I just love the idea of offering to him the first fruits, right? So when we talk about Pentecost, okay? Pentecost was the harvest of the first fruits. Okay? And it was an annual Jewish festival where every year people from all over the place would come and they would offer the first fruits of the harvest. Okay? And that's why during Pentecost, there were so many people there that spoke different languages because they would travel everywhere to offer the first fruits. Okay? On Pentecost, when God sent the Holy Spirit to the disciples, they were drowning. Okay? They were scared, they felt abandoned, they felt alone, they felt like they had no purpose. They had left their entire lives, their families, everything was about him. And then he left them again. And what are they without him? They felt like they're nothing without him. He's redefined their entire purpose, and now he's gone. And they're scared. And they needed comfort. So he sends down the Holy Spirit to comfort them, the Comforter. And what's the first thing that they do with the comfort that they receive? They go out and they offer that comfort to other people. They offer the first fruits of what they received to everybody else. That's service. We are loved. We are valued. He has done everything for us. And out of the love that we receive from him, we go out and we offer the first fruits. That's why we serve. The perfect example for me is always St. Mary Magdalene, okay? I was joking with the group yesterday, 2 days ago. It's all a blur now. I have no idea, okay? You're not supposed to have favorites in the Bible. I'm so sorry, okay? You're not supposed to have favorites in the Bible. I have some favorites, okay? And I have like a top 4, okay? So Elijah, number 1, love him, okay? Favorite. St. Peter, and number 3, St. Mary Magdalene, okay? And I've named my youngest daughter after St. Mary Magdalene. And the reason I love St. Mary Magdalene is because she got it. She got this idea of service. She got it. She didn't pick and choose what her service was. Her service was what he asked. Her service was born out of devotion for him. Okay? So right now, like in my church, in any church, whatever, you ask, can I just hold this? Is that okay? I need to walk around. Is that okay? Okay. She didn't ask, like, I want to do this service or I want to do that service. So if we're at church or whatever, we're recruiting new servants, okay? You always ask them, okay, like, what do you like? What are you called to? What are you good at? You know, we're missing servants in the high school service. I'm really like destroying the high school service as like the one that nobody wants. But like, you know, we really need servants in the high school. Oh, no. I don't do high school. No, I don't do high school. Okay? That wasn't St. Mary Magdalene. St. Mary Magdalene's service over the course of her life changed. It changed according to what he desired, what he asked of her. Okay? When she was first with him, her service was like she like bankrolled the operation. Okay? And then she was present with him at the cross. And then she anointed him. And then after he died, she went and she preached about him. So she wasn't only teacher or like tithing or what, she was everything. And throughout the course of her life, her service modeled the intention behind it. It modeled that her intention is devotion to God, is love for God, is service for God. That is why we do what we do. And we can't talk about service without talking about why we're here. We can't talk about what to do and how to do it without talking about why we're here. We serve because he asked us to. Okay? If you look at like the washing of the feet, okay? In John 13, so when he had washed their feet, taken his garments and sat down again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you." Out of the love that we receive, we then love. Out of the comfort that we've received, we then comfort. The first fruits of what we have received, we then take that and we offer it back. So when I teach my kids, I have like very young kids. I have 7, 5, and 3. Okay? So when we teach them about ownership of the church and ownership of the faith, okay? They don't have jobs. They have nothing. Okay? They have nothing to tithe the church. They have nothing. They're dependents. But we teach them the first fruits of whatever you have. Okay? Millie is my 7-year-old. Okay? And does anybody know what rainbow loom is? It makes my house a mess. Do you guys know what that is? The young people here know what that is. Everybody else is like, what are you talking about? It's these little, like, elastics. They look like hair elastics. And you buy a kit, and there's 10,000 of them. Okay? And then she opens the box and 25 go all over the house. Okay? They're everywhere. Everywhere you go in my house, you step like this and there's elastics everywhere. This rainbow loom is her latest fad. Okay? And she wanted rainbow loom for Christmas. Please, mommy, please, daddy, please, everything is rainbow loom. Okay? And finally, like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Finally, for whatever the event was, we got it for her. Okay? And this is like the best thing that she's ever had. And she's so excited and she can't wait. Millie, what are the first fruits? She has no money. She has nothing to give. You know what she does with these little elastics? She makes bracelets. So you know what she said? Mommy, I will make bracelets for the church festival as the first fruits, and then we can sell them at church and give the money to church. Beautiful. Nobody wants your bracelets, personally, okay? Like, that's fine. But it's the spirit or this idea of the first fruits. We offer what we were given. We comfort with the comfort that we received. Abuna Pshoy Salema is our priest in SMSV. He's like Abuna, don't even get me started. Abuna for me is like, he's up there, okay? And he's the one who always says when he's talking to our servants, okay? There's no such thing as a bad kid or as a troubled kid or as a kid in your class who's just like a lost cause. There's only kids who haven't received the comfort that you have received. You're here, you're serving, you have received comfort. There aren't bad kids. There are kids that haven't received what you have received, and that's your job to offer the comfort that you were comforted with. And part of that service, part of the reason why we do what we do is because in doing that, in doing what he's asked us to do, in loving him back, in loving him that way, we experience him. We're one with him. We feel him. Okay? My favorite example, like, I don't want to give this example. When you're in service, okay? And when you're like on fire for service. So a great example actually is mission trips, okay? How many people in this room have been on a mission trip? Kenya, whatever, Congo, Tanzania, Bolivia, whatever it is, okay? Those days are long days, very long days, okay? Longer days than what you would do at home. And you're much more like physically exerted, you do so much more. Like me personally, like I go to work at home, I come home and I need like, I need to sit on the couch for a second, and my kids are jumping all over, mommy, you know what happened at school? And I'm just like, yeah, tell me, and I need a second. But on mission trips, you have this like energy, okay? And you're doing these like 18-hour days, and you're out on your feet all day, and that same energy that you have on your mission trip, you don't have at home in your day-to-day life. Why? Because in serving him, in loving him, in doing what he's asked us to do, we experience him. And his power flows through us. And we feel that. We feel the difference. What we lack, he compensates because he's there with you and in you. He's your words. He's your energy. He's your strength. He's all of it. And so we feel that. You come back from service and you're buzzed because the power of his love flew through you. Like when there was the woman who bled for many years, okay? And he's surrounded by a crowd of people that are like all over him. And he, who touched me? And they're looking at him like, seriously? There's 10,000 people here who touched you. And he says, no, I felt the power go out of me. That is service. It is love. It is a response to grace. It is a manifestation of love. And it is experiencing him, being with him. And that is what makes us in service steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. We just had a servants retreat in like one of the services that we serve at home called Relentless. The theme of the retreat was called Relentless. And it was about service, how we are relentlessly loved. And because we're relentlessly loved, we can relentlessly serve, and we can relentlessly strive, and we can face relentless opposition because we are relentlessly loved. He's the one that makes us steadfast and immovable and always abounding. He's the one that prevents that discouragement and that like burnout. He's the one that gives you that energy out of love. And out of the love that you've received, we then take that love and we offer it as the first fruits. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit this weekend. So, in this room, okay, everybody in this room has a different service. Everybody in this room has a different calling. Everybody in this room has the same heart, okay, but their path looks different because we're a room full of servants that serve different ways, okay? But what yokes everybody in this room is this idea of like koinonia. We are, in this room, a community of believers. We are united in the fellowship of people that have received his love, have received his comfort, and now want to offer the first fruits of what we've received, okay? And that's a beautiful thing, okay? That's a support system. A team of servants, that's a support system. In Acts, okay, they leaned on each other. They provided for each other. They uplifted each other. When I was empty, he was dry. When I was empty, he was full and he filled me. And when I was dry, do you know what I mean? We carry each other. We uplift each other, right? So the question is, how do we do this? This, I'll tell you, transparently, if we're going to talk about this under the umbrella of relationship goals, okay? This particular relationship goal service for me, I love it, okay, because it's 100% success rate. Either they break up, divorce averted, or they get together in a happy marriage. Beautiful, okay? But it's hard. We take bullets all the time, okay? The last time I gave this talk at home, I've been doing this for 9 years, it got ugly, okay? We take bullets. But the encouragement for the service doesn't come from the people that you serve, right? But the koinonia is who reminds you of that. The community and the fellowship of believers is who reminds you of that. And you know how they remind you of that? Paraclesis. So in Romans 12:8, okay, it talks about the calling of servants. And it talks about what a servant looks like. Okay? And one of the lines there, it says, is he who exhorts in exhortation. Okay? One of the things that I do, it's like a quirk that I have, okay? When I'm kind of digging through some of the scripture, I like to go back to the original translation. Okay? I have a fantastic app. And I take the translation, the way the word was like written in the original language, and the definition of the word as an absolute. Okay? So if you go, these are like screenshots from my app. Can you guys see that? Is it too small? I can zoom in a little bit. Okay? If you zoom in, okay, and you look at the word like exhort, the Greek word for that is paraklesis. Okay? What does exhort mean? Exhort means to console, to encourage, to strengthen, to comfort, like to pray for, to call near. That is what servants are for each other. That is the comfort that we receive from Him, the comfort that we receive from each other, and then the comfort that we are then called to offer as our first fruits. Whether your service is relationship goals, whether your service is high school, college, whatever, prison ministry, widows, whatever, your diocese is amazing. I have to tell you, like, I'm coming back from this trip, like, on fire. Like, I'm coming back with a to-do list this long for my abuna at home. Like, good luck to him when I get home. Your diocese is on fire, okay? Whatever your service is, we are called to do this, to exhort in exhortation, to call near, to comfort, to pray, to console, to encourage, to strengthen, to support, all of it. Because that's the comfort that we received. So as part of this whole like relationship goal, so in my church, at home right now, we're trying to organize our services along a continuum. Okay, you guys are like way ahead of us. Okay, and so, for example, like relationship goals belongs to a continuum. So relationship goals is like step 1. Okay, and then relationship goals feeds into the premarital course. And then the premarital course should feed into a marriage ministry. And then the marriage ministry feeds into the parenting ministry. So that way, at any stage of wherever you are in the continuum, there is a service for you. There's a pre, and a next. So there's always somewhere for you to go. Okay, so we're in the process of redesigning our marriage ministry. So I'm doing schooling, like on the side, like for like marriage and family and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and so like in my academic program, okay, I love when academic programs like copyright these ideas that already exist in the Bible. But in my academic program, okay, they talk about this idea of a counselor, right? And what is a counselor? And are we counselors? Okay, if you look at the definition of a counselor and you contrast that to a servant, they almost look like identical definitions. Okay, in this guy who writes these textbooks that I have to read for my school, whatever, okay, he talks about a counselor. But we substitute the word counselor for servant, because that's who we are, okay? No servant, regardless of training, can choose whether or not to counsel with people. They will bring their problems to the servant, whose choice is not between counseling or not counseling, but between counseling in a disciplined and skilled way or counseling in an undisciplined and unskilled way. If I had to summarize relationship goals, it's this. The number of times people have asked me this weekend, are you a counselor or a relationship therapist? No, sir, I am not. Not by vocation. But do I get to choose whether or not I am? I don't. Because if he is my counselor, then I am called to offer the first fruits of the comfort that I have received to the people in front of me. Whether that's relationship goals, whether that's high school, whether that's university, whether that's whatever it is, okay? I don't get to choose if I do it. All I get to choose is how I do it, because I am called to offer the first fruits. So now, the question is, how do we do it? whatever your service is. I don't know what it is. We're going to assume that it's relationship goals, hopefully, so that you guys can make it better, and then I come back and re-steal, but whatever your service is, okay? How do we do it? So I'm going to just draw some parallels between like the academic program that I'm doing, okay, and what already exists in the Bible. They think that these are novel ideas, but they're really not, okay? So when they talk about the process of counseling, okay, this is kind of like the overarching like process that they describe for counseling. The heartfelt prayer part is like something else. I kind of substituted the words a little bit because it has to be a little bit secular for them. But they talk about connecting first, okay, obviously praying, exploring the issue with the person that you're counseling, planning, and progressing. So we're just going to go through them one at a time, okay? So, number one, what is a servant's job? A lot of the times when you ask these young junior servants, they'll tell you a servant's job is to fix their problems. Wrong. Never. What do you know? Nothing. What do I know? Nothing. There's nothing. I can't fix myself. How can I fix somebody else? Okay? Number one, a servant's job is to connect and build relationship. Okay? Galatians 6:2, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. It doesn't say fix their burdens. It doesn't say find the solution to their problem. All it says is bear one another's burdens. You connect. You're upset, I'm with you. You're celebrating, I'm with you. You're struggling, I'm walking with you. Okay? I can't help you. I have nothing to offer you, but I am with you. Okay? That was a big chunk of St. Mary Magdalene's service. She was there at the foot of the cross. The myrrh bearers, that was their service. Their presence, their physical presence was a service. And trust me, sometimes that's hard, okay? We juggle very difficult lives, okay? Everybody's busy, everybody's got stuff going on no matter what your life looks like. But connecting in and of itself is a service. A servant's job is not to fix them. It's to be with them. Is to walk with them. Is to be like the church, to be the refuge, to be the safe haven, to be like where they can come no matter what. That is the servant's job. And then, once that connection is there, a servant's job is to lift each other up in prayer. Yesterday, we had a parents' talk, okay? When Margie called me, okay, in Canada, I do relationship goals. I've been doing it for years, okay? I have never spoken to parents about dating. I have never, okay? Mostly because I don't want to get shot, okay? And so when he called me and said, hey, listen, we want to try something new. We want to do a parents' meeting. I was like, please, God, let this cup pass from me, okay? Like, petrified. What am I going to tell these parents about their kids? They don't want their kids to date. And I'm telling the kids, yes, date. Like, we had a set of parents that came to one of the talks that were meant for the college kids, and I was like sweating because I can see the parents in the back. I know they're going to disagree with everything I say, and I'm sweating, okay? So he called me and said, I want you to do a parents meeting. Okay? Lots of prayer, okay? Lots of agonizing over it, lots of prayer. But truly, transparently, the primary message that we talked about yesterday in the parents meeting is that the least impactful thing you do for your kids is your words. That's the part of your parenting that means the least. The most impactful is what you model. The most impactful is your life, and that your life will teach them more than your words ever will. And how much you carry them in prayer. Nobody cares what you say. Nobody's even listening, to be perfectly honest. But people know the impact of your life, your actions, your words, and how hard and how strong your prayers are in carrying them through their situations. Your service is no different, okay? At home, I serve something called the Fountain, which is the servants who serve high school. That's why I keep saying high school, because high school like bleeds us dry. Nobody wants to do it because they're crazy, okay? So I don't serve high school, not me, okay? Thank you. I'm not St. Mary Magdalene, okay? I cannot just go where they tell me. High school is the no for me, okay? But I serve the servants who serve high school. That's my see God, I still did it, okay? And so sorry. This is what we teach the high school servants who serve those kids, is that you're going to stand there and you're going to spend all your time and effort on this lesson, okay? Truly, the lesson is the least impactful part of your service. Truly, okay? Anything you're about to say, they can read. And we live in a different world, okay? When I was growing up, you sit there and you listen because that's your only source of information. Now these high school kids can go and get the church history in 25 seconds. There's nothing new that I can tell them. They can figure it out for themselves. They can all read if they want to. Your lesson is the least impactful part of your service. Lifting your kids up in prayer, that's a different story. That's a different story. That's going to accomplish so much more than anything you say to them. Being there with them, praying with them. Thank you. You're so nice. Thank you. I know I sound like I'm coughing up a lung, right? I'm so sorry. Being there with them, praying for them, and praying together, that's going to carry them through the craziness of high school. Your lesson? Probably not. This was also something that we talked about with the parents yesterday. I'm very happy that's over, okay? Listening, okay? And when we talked to the parents yesterday, we told them, okay, not taught, I have nothing to teach them, okay? I don't know anything. My kids are like babies, okay? We told them, you want your kids to ask you. You want them. You want them to ask your opinion. Give them a chance to ask. They don't have the opportunity to ask you if you're not listening and just jumping in with solutions. There's no opportunity for them to ask. There's no opportunity for them to want your opinion. These guys are all like, where are my parents? I can see them. They're like, shh. None of them are your kids. No. That one? Oh. I'm going to get myself in trouble. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go this way, okay? I'm going home tomorrow, okay? No problem. This is the last talk. I'm going to blaze myself out of here before I get fired, okay? Okay. But what we told the parents, not you guys. You guys are amazing. Don't even worry. You're great, okay? Right? They're great. I'm trying to help you. Okay? What we told them is that in order for you to give them an opportunity to want your opinion, you have to listen first and not talk. You have to listen more, talk less, and pray the most, okay? They don't need your words. They need your presence. When they need your words, they will ask you. It's the same with the people that you serve. They don't need your words. Nobody cares what you have to say, transparently, okay? You listen more, you talk less, and you pray the most. And when you're listening, when you're not responding, then they want to know what you think. Then they want to know what you have to say because they respect your opinion, but you've given them an opportunity to want to know. It's the same thing with the people that you serve. You're not here to fix them. You're not here to fix their problems. You're not here to fix their solutions. You have your own problems that you can't fix. You're here to serve them by being with them. Okay? Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. I love the one in Proverbs. I love it. He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. You know who this is talking to? This is talking to me. I have a very, very bad habit of interrupting people. Okay? I'm a very impatient person. Okay? I'm red. Okay? And so right when I think I know what you mean, I've tuned you out and I'm jumping in with the solution. Because I know what you mean. You have to stop talking, like efficiencies, okay? And I jump right in, okay? And I have a daughter who tells very long stories, very long, okay? What happened in her day, the story about her day could be longer than her day, okay? And I love her, Millie, I love you, okay? I hate this live stream, I hate it, okay? But I accomplish nothing for our relationship if I don't listen. I miss the things that she's not saying if I don't listen. I miss the opportunities to look at what I need to pray for if I'm not listening. Your words are the least important part of your service, but still something that you're accountable for. So your words are the least important part, okay? But when you do decide to use them, you have a responsibility. And you have a responsibility to use them with the intended outcome. Often, when we respond too quickly, okay, and we jump in too quickly, what we communicate is not what we meant to communicate. And you have a responsibility to make sure that your words have the intended impact. You choose your words with discernment and with deliberation. Has anybody in this room heard of the temperaments? Yes? Few folks? Temperaments? Very few? Okay. We do a series on temperaments for servants, okay? I highly, highly encourage you guys to look into it if you've never heard of it. Essentially, the premise of the temperaments is that you can use the same exact words and two different people will hear completely different things, even though you've used the same exact words. So the classic example that I give is my kids, because I like to embarrass my kids in all my talks, okay? Is like I have a 7-year-old, Millie, and I have a 5-year-old, Toby. What unites them is that they hate homework with their whole hearts. They are united in this. Excellent, okay? But the difference is that Millie is a yellow, Toby is a blue, okay? If they do a particularly bad job in their homework, okay, I can tell Millie, you didn't do a good job. And she'll say, I know, Mommy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try again next time. Off she goes. Bye. It's forgotten. If I tell Toby, you didn't do a good job, God be with us. He breaks. I'm sorry. I want to try again. Give me another chance. I'm going to do a good job. I want you to be happy with me. And now he's waking up every hour, perseverating on the fact that he's disappointed somebody. Same words. You didn't do a good job. Same words. But two different temperaments hear two different things. And then my youngest doesn't even let me finish it. Maddie, you did. And she's already gone. She doesn't care. She's dismissed it. She's like me. She tunes you out when she thinks she knows what you mean, and off she goes. Same words, different responses. But as a servant, it's your job to deliver with impact. It's your job to know your audience based on the connection that you built in the first step and to deliver your very few words with the desired impact. That's your job. The desired impact is support, encouragement. It is not the desired impact for those words to be delivered with judgment. That is not your job. Your delivery matters. I love this verse in Ephesians. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. Your words need to impart grace. If they don't talk. For the people that you serve, your words need to impart grace. If they don't, stop talking. Your words need to communicate love. If they don't, stop talking. Yesterday, when we, again, started the most stressful talk of the weekend, thank you, Margie, okay, the first thing that we talked about was being united in the same common goal for our kids. That room was full of parents that had kids that were like college, graduates, 25, 28, whatever. And I'm like dinky, like 7, 5, and 3. Like my kids are babies. Like we still buy pull-ups, okay? Sorry, not to out them, okay? But like we are so far apart in where we are in life. But the common thing that united me with these parents, half of which like didn't grow up in the same culture that I grew up in, is that we all love our kids. The common thing that unites everybody in this room is that your words have to communicate love. The love that you received, that you're now offering the first fruits of that love to somebody else. Sorry, I'm going to take some water. Okay, so this is kind of like a contrast between academically, like what I'm studying, okay? It's funny that I'm saying studying because, again, it exists in the Bible, but these people like to copyright things that already exist, okay? And the biblical version of these concepts that they deem to be novel concepts, okay? So when they talk about what the most effective traits a counselor has, okay, the first thing they say is a genuine interest in the individuals. You know what that is? Love. Right? They like to use fancy words for simple concepts. Genuine interest in the individual is a Christian way of saying love. And if you look, we've heard this before. The Lord does not call someone unless he sees love. Yes, we're aware. We're aware that love is a baseline requirement for a servant. And now academically, they're telling us that love is a baseline requirement for a counselor. Yes, we've heard this before. Thank you so much. Okay? The second thing they say is empathy. Have we heard that before? Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Offering the comfort that you have received. That's nothing if not empathy. Okay? Psychological health and stability. Don't be crazy if you're going to be a counselor, okay? Yes, we know. And you want to know why we know? For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, as a servant, okay, again, we're going to contrast the academic with the biblical, okay? They say that these are the traits that a counselor has to have. So the first one is self-awareness, okay? So what they worry about is that your motives behind why you're counseling have to be good and they have to be pure, right? The reasons why you're doing what you're doing have to be good and have to be pure. Is that not what we talked about the entire first portion of this? Now, for the purpose of the commandment is love from a pure heart, from a good conscience, and from sincere faith. Yes, we're aware. Copyright the Bible. Okay? Tolerance for ambiguity, which means that you're able to see in the person that you're serving not the desired outcome that you want. Okay? That you're able to see the person and that you may not know, everything you need to know. And you may not know where this path is going. And you may not need to know what the desired outcome is. But you're okay with that uncertainty to be able to help support this person. Okay? Sound familiar? How many people here know what God has planned for them in the next 5 years? In the next 5 weeks? In the next 5 minutes? None of us. But as part of being a servant, all of us have to be okay with that. All of us have to know that it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. Okay? There is no universe where I would have predicted that some crazy, wonderful clergyman, okay, in LA would drag me here away from my kids. But I don't have the capacity to predict what God has planned for my life. I don't have that. And we don't have the capacity to predict what God's outcome is for the people that we serve. So when people come up to me and they ask me, should we break up? I don't know. I have no idea. All I can offer them is the comfort that I have received. All I can offer them is the assurance in the uncertainty that I have, but in the certainty that it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. That's all I got. They also say, these very wise academics, okay, awareness of one's own values. Okay? Examine yourselves as to whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not know yourselves that Jesus Christ is in you? I want us to just talk about this part for a second. Especially when it comes to relationships, okay? So my goal for this retreat essentially is like, no offense, never to come back. Because you guys will take relationship goals and you'll fix it, you'll make it better, okay? And then he'll send me the slides, okay? In a few weeks, months, years, whatever, okay? But when we talk about servants serving people, okay, high school, university, whatever it is, but specifically in relationships, there's things that we have to be cautious of. There's things that are like common like triggers or vulnerabilities or risk factors that servants can have being their own independent people, okay, that they can then carry into the service. And we ask people, like in this verse, examine yourselves as to whether you are in the faith. Make sure that when you're there and you're serving, you're asking yourself the right questions, that your motives are pure, and the reasons that you're there are pure, and the advice that you're giving is pure, and that in everything that you're doing in your service, your eyes are here and not here. Okay? Somebody's coming to you and they're confiding in you, and your eyes are here, not here. Okay? And somebody's telling you like the drama and the depths of their heart, okay? And that your heart is here, not here. And your mind is here and not here. And I'm not looking at this person and what they're telling me. I'm looking at God to tell me, what do you want me to do? You puppet me. You put the words in my mouth. You tell me what you want this person to hear. You move this person's heart the way you want it moved. Because I'm not responding to their information. I'm responding to here. But sometimes there's things about ourselves that get in the way of that focus here when we're hearing this way, okay? One of them, with any service, okay, is the servant's need for relationship. And sometimes they take that need for relationship and they extrapolate that onto the people that they're serving. And that's not fair. Because that person or that group or those people that you're serving cannot fulfill that void for you. They cannot. And if you take that and that becomes the motive behind why you're serving, then you've taken your focus from here and you've put it here. Similarly, okay, sometimes people need to feel like they are in control. Okay, I don't have to talk to you. Everybody knows church politics, blah, 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 drama. Okay, we don't have to talk about this one too much because I'm going to get myself in trouble. Okay, but sometimes, okay, the need for control can overtake somebody's focus upwards and make the focus here. And all the ways that I can control here, and all the ways that I can fix here, and this person's problem, and this is the solution, and this is not organized, and this is, and this is, and this is, and they give advice and play the hero and play the savior instead of referring to the savior. And we got to be careful about that. Because everybody loves the flattery. Everybody loves to be the hero. But then you take the motives behind why you're serving and you change them from love to selfishness. And service stops being about him and starts being about you. And similarly, that whole idea of the need to rescue, okay? In relationship goals, okay, this is a big one. This is a really big one. And so for those of you that are going to take this and take relationship goals forward, okay, the need for information. This one is so dangerous, okay? When people are coming to you for the comfort that you are called to offer them, okay? It doesn't matter who they're dating. The name doesn't matter. And if it starts to matter, that's the point at which you self-examine, right? Why do I need to know the identity of this person that they're talking about? Then you self-examine. And I find generally that like relationship goals, like the relational services that we serve, like relationship goals, premarital, those kind of things, you're particularly vulnerable as the servant in those situations for that need for information. Okay? Similarly, okay, the need for affirmation and acceptance. So sometimes, okay, from service, people will get from service validation. Okay, like, oh, I loved your lesson. It was so great. And then you do one of these, right? And then you keep doing it. And oh, I loved your, that trip that you planned was so fun. And then you do another one of these, right? And then the first time someone aims a bullet at you, you crumble and you walk away from the service. And this is not the service that God called me to. No, it can't be, because now they're criticizing me and I'm doing everything wrong. And so this can't be the service that God called me to. Is that true? If He is your validation, if He is your reason, if the people in front of you don't matter like the reason why you're here, they can't change what you know to be the calling. They can't make you second guess what you know to be true. But if your motives behind why you're in that service are the validation and the affirmation, again, you've taken your focus from here and you've pointed it inwards. Okay? And the last thing is the need for help with your own problems. So what I mean by this is sometimes people have like something to prove. Service is like a status symbol. Do you know what I mean? I am a servant. Okay? A long time ago, like when I was very young and service was becoming very popular or whatever, they used to like print these like hoodies that said servant on the back. Okay? I was like maybe like in grade 9 or something. Okay? And man, did it make people go bananas in my church. Everybody wanted that status of being a servant so they could wear the hoodie. Okay? We don't do that anymore. We don't print servant hoodies, just so you know, okay? Because it changes people's motivation. And service is not a status symbol. Service is actually the opposite. Service is a testament to the love that I've received, which has got nothing to do with any of my efforts. I didn't earn the love that I received. I'm not loved based on my value or my performance or anything that I've done. Service is a testament to the grace. It's a response to grace. So we can't make that a status symbol. So we're going to just kind of blow through this one, okay? Common servant mistakes, and I'm talking about relationship goals, but also all services, okay? Problem solving too early, we talked about this. Just listen more, talk less, pray the most, okay? Asking too many questions too quickly, okay? Because that's an indication of A, you're not listening, and B, why do you need to know the details? So self-examine, okay? This one is a big one. Communicating judgment or disapproval, verbally or non-verbally, okay? So it's not just about what you say. So person X comes to you and says, hey, I have to tell you something. I messed up. I did. And you say nothing, but you do. Or, okay? Communicating verbally or non-verbally. The love that you have received is without condition. And the comfort that you have received is without condition. And it is from that you then offer your first fruits. And what you have doesn't have judgment in it. And what you have doesn't have strings attached to it. So you are accountable for communicating the love that you have received, which doesn't have strings, doesn't have conditions, doesn't have a ceiling. Okay? Defensiveness, okay? Especially with resistance. So you say something and they say, no, you're wrong, and then you get defensive about it, okay? Maybe it's an indication that you talked a little bit too much, okay? And then, of course, rapid emotional involvement. So the last thing we're going to talk about, okay, is a few skills that we need in order to help us appropriately communicate the love and the comfort that we received. Okay? So number one, active listening skills. Okay? The reason I like this is because the perfect example of this for me is my father of confession. So somebody asked me yesterday, honestly, I think it was a trap. He was trying to trap me, honestly. Okay? He asked me yesterday, he put his hand up in the middle of the crowd. It was like stacks of people, and they're going to put his hand like this. Sorry, Buna. Okay? How do you know if your father of confession is only like responding to what you've said and not giving you well-rounded advice? AKA, like, how do I know when I can dismiss my father of confession? Okay? And I'm sitting in that room. The live stream is on. Okay? It's very annoying. And there's two Abunas and a Marchi sitting there. Okay? Okay. And what I told him, okay, and what I'll tell you guys is my father of confession has mastered this thing called active listening skills. He's not just listening for what I'm saying. He's listening for what I'm not saying. He's not just listening for the words that are coming out of my mouth. He's listening for what I'm holding back, what I'm hesitating about, what I am being cautious about, what I am struggling over. He's listening for what's not being said. That is active listening skills. They have your attention, they have your focus, they have your you're not on your phone at the same time as they're telling you their life's drama, okay? And you are able to pick up where that's not everything. You are able to pick up where they say, but I'm good, and actually they're a mess, and they're broken, and they're hurt, and they might want to be good, but they're broken. That is active listening skills. Being able to give them everything that you have and looking for every opportunity to offer the comfort that you have received. Part of the way you do that is the attending skills, okay? Which is the posture and the eye contact and the gestures. And when we talk about temperaments, okay, and learning the temperaments of the people that you serve, okay, in order to be able to communicate your delivery properly, there are a few temperaments that this is the most important, okay? I have a yellow daughter, so I'm very sensitive to this, okay? If my yellow daughter is telling me a story that is 3 hours long about the sequence of colors in her rainbow loom bracelet, okay? My goal of that conversation is connection. My goal of that conversation is to offer the love that I have received. She is yellow. It matters to me if she has my full attention. It matters to her if she has my full attention. And if I'm washing the dishes as she's telling me, okay, no eye contact, no whatever, I'm not giving her the connection that she needs. I'm not giving her the attention that she gets from him, that I get from him, that I'm now supposed to offer the first fruits. She's not getting that from me. The yellows are particularly sensitive to that, and so are the blues. So your active listening and your attending skills are your responsibility because they are part of the enlightenment and the knowledge that we seek to help us communicate the love that we have received. Okay, nonverbal communication we talked about. Acceptance, okay? You don't have to agree with what they've told you to accept them. You don't have to like what they've told you to accept them, okay? So, like I said, I've talked about my kids a lot. I have 3 kids, okay? I have Millie is 7, Toby is 5, and Madeline is 3, okay? Probably the one that is most different to me is my eldest, okay? I'm not like rainbow, sparkles, unicorn, pink, that's not really me. I was never like that. I was never into the princess vibe, that's not my thing, okay? And so when Millie was born, I was like, yes, it's a girl. She's gonna be a boss lady, yes, okay? And out comes this fluffy unicorn, okay? That please God help me, I don't know what to do with this child, okay? And I tried, Okay? Ask my friends. For the first year of her life, I refused to buy her anything pink. I don't wear pink, just so you know. Like, I just don't like it, okay? I refused to buy her anything pink. All her clothes was like yellow, gender neutral, like until we got her ears pierced, you wouldn't even know that she's a girl. Like, I was like, nope, we're not doing this. I'm not raising a pink Barbie doll. No, 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 okay? And then she learned how to talk. And she learned how to communicate her opinions, okay? And out comes this sparkly unicorn who loves sequins and pink. And like, I don't do Barbies. I don't like Barbies. I think it's just, it puts ideals in kids' heads that are unachievable and frankly twisted, okay? I don't like that. And this child wants a Barbie. Millie, we've talked about this, mama, okay? Let's focus on things that are real, okay? Barbie. We don't do the princess thing, but mama, why not? Millie, we've talked about this, mama. A princess has no achievements of her own, okay? Like, she didn't accomplish anything out of her own skills. She was born into it. Why don't you want to be for Halloween a CEO? Can we talk about Halloween? Are we allowed to do that? Probably not. Okay. Why don't you want to be, for any unspecific reason, okay, a CEO? I want to be a princess. And my husband Rami's laughing in the side, okay? He's like, I just want you to know that Millie is God's joke on you, okay? He's laughing at you right now, okay? Madeline, the third one, Rogel, okay? But Millie is like, I don't have to agree with what Millie likes to accept her. And if I communicate anything but the fact that I accept her, I haven't done my job. Millie knows I don't love Barbies, I don't love pink, I don't love whatever, okay? Is Millie's room plastered in pink? Yes, it is. Because I accept her. Does she know why I don't like Barbies and I don't like princesses and I don't like all this stuff? Yes, she knows. But does it change that I accept her? No. Because my job as her mom, my job as a servant, my job as a person who has received love without condition is to offer the first fruits. My job is to be her refuge. My job is to be her safe haven. My job is to be, regardless of what you say or do, I will always accept you. And where did I learn that from? From the fatherhood of God. That's where I got it. So as servants, it's our job to accept them. And accepting doesn't mean condoning. Okay? They know when we don't agree with something. You don't have to say it. They know. Even in the way they come and tell you, they know that you don't agree with it and you don't condone it. But it doesn't change that you accept them because you are the church. You are the refuge. You are the safe haven. You are supposed to be the place that they know they can always come and they are always accepted no matter what. And if your communication communicates anything other than that, we haven't done our job. We haven't. In any service. You have responded to their actions and not who they are. Who they are is a child of God. Who they are is a son or daughter of the King. Who they are is made in the image and likeness of God. And if you communicate anything but acceptance, you have responded to their actions and not who they are. And that's not our job. Our job is to be the refuge and the safe haven. Okay, this is very complicated, okay? We work up to this, okay? And that's why the example of it being Christ is we've worked up to it. Because Christ obviously has it mastered. He's the master of this, okay? Responding skills, questioning skills, and challenging skills, okay? I'm gonna park the challenging skills. None of you need to challenge anybody right now. Let's just start small, okay? Start small. We're gonna start with listening, okay? We're gonna start with accepting, and then we're gonna talk about responding and questioning skills, okay? Responding is responding to what they're telling you in a way that supports and encourages. Remember we talked about that word paraklesis, okay? To support, to encourage, to draw near, to uplift, okay? To pray for, okay? That's what you're doing. In your response to whoever you're serving, you are uplifting, you are supporting, you are encouraging, okay? How you respond determines your ability to do that, okay? If you're able to ask them without telling them, if you're able to summarize what they're saying without dismissing what they're saying, if you're able to respond with support and not judgment, okay? So if you look at this passage, when when Christ appeared after the crucifixion, okay, and after the resurrection, okay, they're walking and their eyes were restrained. So they didn't know that he was walking with them. He was just some guy, some stranger, okay? And he's listening to them chirp about everything that happened, okay? And they're bantering and they're going back and forth and they're blah, blah, blah. And he's just listening skills, okay? Listening. But then he starts to respond. And then he starts to question, okay? And in his responding and questioning, what happened? They experienced him. In his responding and his questioning, a light bulb went off and they experienced him. They saw who he was. They saw his love. They saw his mercy. They saw his grace. And all of a sudden, in that experience with him, they realized who he was. Your job as servants is to help them realize who he is. Who he is a loving God. Who he is a God who accepts no matter what. Who he is a God who is the refuge, the safe haven, no strings attached. In your responding and in your questioning, your job is to help them realize who he is by experiencing who he is through you. That's your job. So it's our responsibility to be able to do this right. It's our responsibility to make sure that the way we respond has the intended impact. And when you can't, because all of us will get to a point that we can't, it is your responsibility to direct them to somebody who can. All of us have a ceiling. All of us have a maximum. All of us have a situation that is complex enough that we need help. So when you can't, it is your job to direct them to somebody who can. Okay? Okay. Questions for Marchie? I don't know where this Lido is. Disconnect from the airplane. I love this question. Oh, I love it. You want to know why? Because this was Millie's lesson at school on Friday. Wow, God works in amazing ways. How do you balance treating who we serve equally versus changing what we do for each person? You know what I think the answer to this question is? Equity, not equality, okay? This is what I teach my kids, okay? So my kids, we go to the store, okay? And Millie's feet are growing faster than Toby's feet, okay? This year, back to school for us, school starts like last week, like the first few days of September, okay? So we go back to school, we're checking everybody's pants and uniform and shoes and whatever. Toby's feet did not grow over the summer. Shkorak ya Rab, he doesn't need new shoes. Millie's 2 sizes. Excellent. Okay? So we go to the store and, okay guys, we're here to buy shoes for Millie. What's the first question I get? Why? It's not fair. Only Millie, what? Only Millie, I want shoes. How come Millie gets shoes and I don't get any shoes? And the other 2 become bananas. Okay? And what's our response to them? Equity, not equality. It is not that everybody gets the same of everything. It's that everybody gets what they need. Okay? When we talk about temperaments, okay? My daughter, Millie, is a yellow. She needs attention. She needs approval. She needs acceptance. Okay? My son Toby is not a yellow. He doesn't need it. He doesn't care. Especially Madeline. Madeline doesn't care about anybody. Okay? Madeline doesn't need the same parenting strategies that Millie needs. She needs her own version of it, but not an equal version of it. Equity, not equality. You're responding to the person, not their status or not their role. One person may need outreach and time and, but another person may need prayers. Another person may need presence. Another person may need a referral, okay? But it's equity, not equality. It's not one size fits all. You respond based on what they need, not what they are in terms of the role that they fulfill in your life. I was so happy that the teacher also reinforced this concept. That's it. Margie.
Anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask?
Oh, no. How do you serve people with insecurities? So you mean like everybody in the world? So I'll tell you, like this concept of insecurities is a very general concept. It's a very like ambiguous concept, right? Because everybody has insecurities. Sometimes those insecurities manifest differently. Sometimes people make poor decisions out of their insecurities, okay? But usually, in my experience, and like, please chime in, okay? It often comes down to one core principle, which is knowing who I am, your identity in Christ, okay? So if there's one thing that my kids repeat 1,000 times a day, it's I am what I am by the grace of God. And that applies to strengths and flaws. Okay? So when I was growing up, it was kind of like the culture that you don't talk about anything good. You never do that. There's like an Arabic saying, like something about shamaitik. What is it? That one, exactly. Okay? And so like if something good happens, like shh, don't talk about it, don't tell anybody. Like you have to hide it quickly, put it under the basket, and like even your parents can't say good job, la, ghalat, hasad, and they do this ayn thing, like I don't really know like what it is, okay? And there's nothing about like the positives, right? But the negatives, oh, that's the focus, okay? Everybody loves talking about the negatives. But the problem with that is that we lose sight of the whole picture, okay? God has made all of us, and I am what I am by the grace of God. My strengths come from God. What I'm good at, but I'm good at because God gave it to me. God made me that way. And what I'm bad at, it's okay, because I am a flawed individual, but I am loved anyway, because I am what I am by the grace of God. And often when people make decisions that are driven by their insecurity, they forget to fall back on this idea of I am what I am by the grace of God. And often when people are unable to like own their mistakes and apologize for their mistakes, and like they feel like they can't take criticism, it's because they forget this idea of I am what I am by the grace of God, strengths and flaws alike. So when I have like talking about my kids, let's say, or like this morning I was talking to somebody else from relationship goals that kind of had like most of their decisions governed by their insecurity. It's not like, no, but you are good at this, and no, but you are great. And it's like that's almost like a Band-Aid solution. The root of the problem is I am what I am by the grace of God. Who are you? Do you know who you are? You are the daughter of a king. You are loved beyond measure. You are royalty. You are made in his image and likeness of God. Who are you? Do you know who you are? And then from who you are, you make your decisions. From who you are, then everything else flows, because I am what I am by the grace of God. So I don't think that the way to serve people with insecurities is to put a Band-Aid over it and say, yeah, you are good at it. Like when Millie is like, she wants to be athletic, but she's really not, like at all, okay? And like she just called me like earlier today and, oh, mama, we're having a marathon. It's called the Kilometer Club. Okay, great. That's wonderful. But I'm the slowest kid in the class. Like, yeah, you probably are, okay? Like, it's not helpful for her if I tell her, you are fast. I'm lying, you're not fast, okay? But Millie, maybe you're not the fastest, okay? But I am what I am by the grace of God. Maybe he didn't make you fast, but he made you everything else. Like, all the growth happens in your brain. Like, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't help her if I affirm the insecurity. It helps her if I affirm who she is and who God made her to be, which is independent of what somebody else may want her to be. Does that make sense? How to help the quiet kid in the class break out of their shell? Oh, I love this question so much. Okay. The quiet kid okay. This comes back to temperaments, okay? And I love the temperaments. I don't want to give a temperaments talk right at this moment, okay? But like the overarching like premise of temperaments is that there's 4 core temperaments. There's red, yellow, green, blue. Your quiet kid in the class is probably going to be either green or blue, okay? If they are green, they are quiet because they have an opinion, but they would rather hear everybody else than voice their opinion. The opinions of others and other people being happy and comfortable is more important to them than volunteering their opinion, okay? If your quiet kid in the class is a green, is a blue, that kid in the class is a blue because they're quiet because they don't like crowds. And they're embarrassed to put their hand up in front of people because they're hypersensitive about how people view them because they're blue, okay? If the kid in the class is quiet, the question is, do you want them to break out of their shell? Why do they have to break out of their shell? They are quiet. They are reserved. Why do we want them to be something different? We want them to participate? Yes. We want them to learn? Yes. We want to know that they have benefited from something? Yes. But does that look the same as the loud kids? No. It's equity, not equality. The quiet kid in the class doesn't need to look like the loud kid in the class for it to be a success. The quiet in the class doesn't need to model the extroverts in the class for it to be a success. The quiet kid in the class gets their own type of support. So for example, my teacher friends, okay, when they have like the loud ones like me and the quiet ones, okay? And you know how like in school, they do this thing where like when you're in grade 1 or whatever, everybody has like the same book and everybody has to read a paragraph out loud, right? And that's how they mark and they test your reading, okay? The little blue and yellow kids, the quiet ones, this paralyzes them with fear. It paralyzes them, okay? So what do my like teachers who have kind of figured this out do? They meet with the kid the day before, okay? And they say, come, me and you, this is the part that you're gonna read tomorrow. Let's practice it together, just me and you. No crowd, nobody around, just me and you. And they make that kid feel comfortable, and they make that kid feel safe, and they make that kid feel like even if you make your mistakes with me, just me and you, no problem. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Until that kid builds their confidence that this is something that they're good at. But is that little kid ever gonna be loud and excited and volunteering? No, it's not who they are. But do they have to be? No, they don't. But do they need their own kind of like specific attention that looks different than the loud ones? Yes. But we have to be cautious about not wanting to make them into something else that they're not. We have to be able to accept them for who they are. I, as a person, I'm sure you can tell, am very loud. Okay? I'm very extroverted. My husband is not. He's never gonna be. My husband serves with his whole heart. There is nobody in the world who has a heart of service like my husband. He's number one. But he doesn't give talks. He doesn't like to. That's not who he is. That's okay. His service looks different. His path looks different. It doesn't have to look the same. And so sometimes we have to question, like, why we're asking the question. Does this little quiet kid have to look the same? Probably not. As long as you have your own way of making sure that that kid is with you. You know what I mean? Oh. Where am I? Where's the quiet kid? Oh, so you got rid of it. Okay. Where do I start, from the bottom or the top? Okay. What do you do when you serve high school kids and they tell you about relationship issues, but it's issues off limits that parents need to be aware of? Thankfully, I don't serve high school kids. I only serve the servants that serve high school kids. Yes. Okay. But it's issues off limits that parents need to be aware of. So, like, I think the question is, you serve a high school kid, you being not me, okay? And they tell you something that is severe enough that the parents need to be aware. Yeah? I think that's what I'm hearing. I think so, right? Okay. So how do you make sure that they are safe without breaking the confidence of the kid? Yes? Is that, I think, what they're asking? So I'm gonna say that the first, like, assessment, okay, and really, like, please chime in because I don't serve high school, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please, Abuna, like, let me know. Is that determination of, are they safe? Okay? Is there something that is happening that is a risk to their safety? Okay? A risk to their salvation, okay? Yes, maybe, longitudinally, okay? But right now I'm talking about their imminent and immediate safety, because breaking a kid's confidence is a very big deal and really, really difficult to repair, because we are the safe haven. We are the refuge, okay? We are the church. And a high school kid doesn't necessarily understand the concern for their well-being, okay? So if this is something that you're considering, you really have to, like, understand the impact of what is happening, okay? And the impact of breaking that kid's confidence, and it's got to be like a life or death here, okay? Because that confidence will be very, very difficult to reform, okay? If it is something that is like a safety risk, that's part of that referral criteria, okay? Where now this issue is big enough that this, like, exceeds the scope of service. This has now become something that needs referral. Whether the referral is like healthcare, like Abuna, whatever it is, there's a scope of service, and part of the strength of a servant is knowing when a referral is required. Make sense? Anybody want to chime in? No? Nobody wants to chime in? Great. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
What if it's, a lot of times it's a young servant that the student will confide in, okay? So let's say you have a senior servant, a young servant on college level, where the high school student will come and say things to them. And it could be things like they're in a sexual relationship, for example, and then suddenly the servant will be the young servant is very concerned. So they go to the senior servant or the servant coordinator. And at this point, they're trying to get an adult, somebody older, to intervene, but they also don't want to break confidentiality. So this is a very, very, like, sensitive subject. So, so is that considered safety? To me, that's considered safety. So, my go-to is, okay, let's go to Abuna, have him talk to, because if you talk to the parents directly, then it goes like crazy. So, I student is engaging in activities that are gonna potentially be harmful, it could lead to all kinds of horrible things. So I think going to, that's my go-to is let's go to Abuna, have Abuna maybe talk to the student first in confession, in a confidential way, and hopefully that helps to mitigate the problem instead of going to the parents or something like that.
Agreed. Like that referral pathway, right? I'm also gonna just like caution that like, when we refer to Abuna, if the kid tells Abuna in confidence, like in the confines of confession, there's also a struggle there for Abuna as well, right? Because like you're kind of bound, so we're sort of in the same boat. But hey, your problem, not mine, friend, right? But I would agree that especially for junior servants, we have to be able to arm them with what constitutes a referral pathway, especially with junior servants, because this is not something, like in general as servants, it's not our job to fix them, right? And sometimes junior servants love the like fix, right? So we have to be able to arm them, like as part of our mentorship, with that referral pathway. I don't know what Abuna's gonna do with it, but there is a point at which issues far exceed the scope of the servant. How can you proceed with a co-ed friendship when both parties have feelings versus if only one person wants to pursue? Co-ed friendship. So scenario 1 is both people have feelings for each other. Scenario 2 is only one person has feelings for the other person. Yes? We think? Okay, then you're not really friends, is what I'm going to say. So you cannot proceed with a co-ed friendship. You can proceed with a co-ed courtship, if you like, but you cannot proceed with a co-ed friendship because you are no longer friends because both parties have feelings. And if only one person wants to pursue, you can proceed with neither a friendship nor a courtship because only one person wants to pursue. So I think what this is getting at is like, can we stay friends? The answer is no. Usually I give this like song and dance about it before I say no, and this is I'm leaving tomorrow and you can be mad if you want, but no, you can't be friends. Is there ever a situation to call out wrong or sin if the person is not aware? If so, how do we do it in a loving, non-judgmental manner? I would say that the most impactful way for somebody to have insight about their sin is for it to come from them. And you calling it out is infinitely less impactful than something that somebody realizes on their own. And I can appreciate the frustration and like almost like the paralysis of watching somebody continue in something that you feel they don't have insight in. The impact of your pointing it out is much less than you think. Can you plant seeds? Yeah, you can. But the call out is not going to work the way you think it's going to work. And so the goal is to teach people to look inside, to look up, and then that helps them look inside to figure out what's blocking their vision from looking up. And our goal as servants is to teach people how to do that. It's not to sit there and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's to coach them through how to figure out what is wrong in themselves. Do you know what I mean? So yes, like you want to call it out. Yes, you want to help them. You're doing much more help by teaching somebody the life skill of how to self-reflect and self-examine and look within, independent of this specific example. Because if it's not this one that you call out, there's going to be another one and another one and another one. So it's the whole concept of like, teach a man to fish, right? If I call this one out and I do it for them, great, but they still haven't developed the skill that they're going to need when I'm not around. So I think it's far better to teach them how to self-examine rather than to do the self-examination for them and point it out, if that makes any sense. What are steps we can take to fix or work on the things we said to be wary of. For example, the need for control or appreciation. So the first step to all of that is insight. Always, okay? You can't fix something that you don't know exists, which relates to the question that we just asked, right? And that's why when we were talking about the servants' talk, one of the verses that kept coming up is that idea of examine yourselves, look within, and that ability to ask God to open your heart and reveal in your heart the things that are a barrier between Him and you, the things that refocus your perspective off of Him and onto yourself. That's the first step, is the insight, okay? The second step, okay, is He makes all things new. He makes us whole, right? So when you come up with that issue that is the barrier between you and Christ, the first thing you do is you bring it to Him, right? That's the first thing you do. And then if you know that there's something that you're doing that pushes this like issue that you have forward, you might want to sit with your father of confession and figure out if you might need to take a step back until you kind of have it under control, right? If I know that in serving this group of girls, okay, I get a high off of the like, oh, you're so great, I love you. Like, we might want to talk about whether there is a service that I'm better aligned with right now, right? Until I have figured this out between me and God. But this is like a very like father of confession heavy discussion. How do I overcome the fear of giving my Sunday school kids the wrong advice? Don't give them any advice. That's how you do it. Listen more, talk less, pray the most, okay? You can't fix them. They don't know anything, we don't know anything, nobody knows anything. If you're worried about giving them the wrong advice, just don't give them any advice. Listen more, talk less, pray the most. The best thing that you can do for them is model your life according to the values of Christ, be there for them, be there with them, and lift them up in prayer. Stop giving them advice. What's your advice on addressing a relationship that parents don't approve of, but our Sunday school kids want to pursue? Oh, were you here yesterday? One of you guys must have been here yesterday. I need more information. I guess the first question is like, how old is the Sunday school kid? Like, I hope they're not like 7, because that's confusing, okay? Ultimately, at the end of the day, okay, we can't change what they do. We can't, okay? We can walk with them. We can watch them make mistakes. We can be the refuge. We can be the safe haven. We can accept them no matter what. We can support them through it. We can be there when it goes bad and like, cry with them when everything goes bad. But we 9 times out of 10 can't make them not do it. I wish we could, but we can't. But transparently, that's not part of our job description. Our job description is to love with the love that we received, to comfort with the comfort that we received, to be the refuge and to be the safe haven, and to teach them by modeling in our own lives how to look within and how to look